There's a new SocialFi project taking CT by storm. It's called Tribe.run and it's built on Solana. It's got airdrops baked in, alpha chats going left and right, and plenty of Soul flying around. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this app so that you can speed run your knowledge of this. We'll go through the features I like, the downsides, and all the tips I've learned so far. And sprinkled throughout, I'll give you some ideas of some people that I think you should try and follow early. Hey everyone, I'm Lathaz, and if you're into earning money during this crypto bull run, you'll want to be following me, especially when it comes to airdrop farming. All right, let's get straight into it. This is Tribe.run. Think of it like a Web3 version of Patreon, except the difference is that you're paying a monthly subscription in Patreon and you don't ever get any monetary value back from that. Here you're buying tokens into these different communities, which means that if the value of that token increases because the value that that user is putting out increases, then you could sell your stake in that and earn money back. SocialFi is not a new thing. This has been going around for a little while. We've had things like Friend Tech and others, but there's a few key things that are different here. One of the main ones is that it's built on Solana, which is obviously a very hot chain right now. And they've also got a whole bunch of new features that I think make this really special too. To gain access, you are going to need a referral code. So I've got one in the description that you can use. Once you've clicked on the referral link, you enter your email in here, which it then sends a code to your emails that you just have to input. And then step 2 is connecting either your X account or your Farcaster account. Step 3 is creating your own tribe, but you don't have to do that. If you get to that point, you can just click skip. Once you're in, click on the account tab and go to deposit Soul. Then you'll be given a Soul address that you can send your Soul to so that you can start buying. You also can buy with credit card or bridge from Ethereum. It's a dead chain, right? So might as well bridge it here. If you want to withdraw, you also can click on the send button and then you can send all of your Soul back out to another address. If you want to manage your account or withdraw in a different way, you can click on the settings icon here and then go down to export wallet. You can then click on copy key and then you can import that into Phantom or whatever other Solana wallet you want to use. Okay, now that you've got some Soul, what do you do next? Well, firstly, you've got all the names here on the leaderboard that you can go through. These are the ones that are the biggest communities at the moment. Just to point out a couple and why they might be at the top. Bill ZH is actually the creator of Tribe.run. So I would imagine that his token probably continues to go up in value over time. Probably a pretty safe bet to invest in his token early. Bling Bling is also the main developer behind Tribe.run too. And of course, Frank D. Gods is here early as well. Another way to find users is by using this search function at the top. Obviously, the first one you're going to write in is Lathaz, of course. Let's look at the profile for Bill ZH and show what this looks like. Also, I apologize if it's not pronounced Bill ZH. Maybe it's Bill's her. Anyway, a few things you'll notice. You've got this AMA section here where people can ask any questions they'd like, but the answers do go into the tribe, so you need to gain access to that. Next, you'll see the activities tab. This shows you all the buys and sells. You also can choose to look at just the ones from the chief, which is the person who created the token. Or you can look at your own buys and sells, or you can just look at everybody's. Finally, there's the More tab. This shows you a bit more information about the amount of members there are, how many tokens each of those people have. The stats section shows you the max chat size. That means that only 24 people can be in the chat. It shows you the monthly subscription fee, which we'll get into later, and also what the total supply of this token is too. If you click on the Buy Now button, this is where you can purchase the tokens that you would like to so that you can become part of this community and earn money based on how the token is going. But if you want to join the chat where you're receiving alpha from this person, then you have to look at what the max chat size is. And in this case, it's 24. Minimum to get into any chat is 10 tokens. You must hold at least 10 tokens. But if there are enough people that have 10 tokens or more, and it goes over this amount, then it goes to whoever is the top 24 holders. So for Bill ZH, in this example, if you click on the button that says buy minimum to enter chat, it will then put in the amount that you would need to get into the chat, which at the moment is only 13 tokens. Mind you, that is 27 Soul. You can also click on the sell button here, and this is how you can choose to sell them. You also can set slippage down here as well to different percentages to make sure that you get out quickly. There are also a few other metrics here that are worth looking at. You can see the price of one token, and you can also see the percentage that's gone up, as well as the total tribe value. So in this case, the total tribe value is $6.3 million. It shows you up here at a glance how many members there will be in the chat, and how many tokens you need to be spending each month as part of the subscription, which we'll get to a bit more later. The last thing you might have noticed is this icon that's bouncing up and down. This is where you can airdrop holders of the Bill ZH token. We'll get more into that later as well. Going back to the homepage, you can click on the Billboard tab, and this is basically a global chat function where you can read messages from everybody in the Tribe.run community. The The final tab is your Explore tab. This is where you can see when people are creating tribes, when people are buying and selling. It's an absolute mess. There's so much going on in here. There is a filter button up here where you can filter based on just seeing new tribes or seeing all. Going back to your account tab, you also will see the referrals button. This is where you can create your own referral code. I believe you have to have done 0.5 SOL worth of volume, I think. When you're invited by someone, you do get a trading fee discount of 5%. You will also receive 150 free tokens and 15% of referred users' trading fees too. So again, make sure to use my referral code because this did take a bit of time to make. Last thing to draw your attention to is the claim airdrops button. We'll get into this a little bit more later, but basically you can receive airdrops of tokens in this app as well. And so you can click on those and then click next, and that's how you can claim the token. Let's go through some of the features that I like about this app, and then we'll get into some of the downsides of it as well. Firstly, I like that you can customize your tribe chat size. I think that actually is a pretty beneficial thing for certain creators because some would want to have a tribe chat size that's really small and keep the alpha very in-house, very tiny. Others would like to expand it out and make it a little bit bigger. There's also a monthly subscription price that you can turn on or off. I think you also can limit it now to be like 1.5 tokens per member per month, or 4.5, or change the value a little bit there. Personally, I actually like the monthly subscription option because I think it does provide an incentive for the creators to continue to provide value, because otherwise people aren't going to pay that every month. So if they want to continue to earn an income from it, then they need to make sure that they've got people paying that monthly subscription, so they need to create good value. So you get this loop that kind of works in the user's favor. However, I do know that we all have a lot of subscriptions, so maybe it's not the best thing, but I think it can work in our favor. But it does also help creators over time as well, because this is a way they can earn an income. I think this kind of flips the way that the NFT meta kind of did things in the last cycle, where a creator makes a whole bunch of money up front from selling the NFTs, but then they don't get anything after that, or like very little amounts. So these NFT communities kind of just died over time, whereas this has a bit more of a staying power like that. Looking in your account tab, you can see all the different tokens you own of all the different creators, and you can see how much your token has grown in value over the time that you've owned it. If you are able to, you can join the chat, and then you can go and chat now. This is what the chat tab looks like, and you can see when you have a message that you need to go in and have a look at. Using my chat as an example, you can click on the stream button, and then you're able to do a live stream to the people in the community. And all of these things are only for the people who are in the chat, who own enough tokens to be in the chat. There are simple options for buying and selling your tokens straight inside of there, as well as being able to add trial users, which is a cool idea. You can manage the tribe as well and change the chat size or the monthly subscription. You can mute it or unmute the notifications if you'd like. And you can also share this community to others. Although this is only new, I do like some of the features they've been able to put into this already, and I'm sure that's going to get better over time. Okay, let's talk about the airdrop functionality, because this, I think, is a game changer. First thing to note is that it is using ZK compression, which means that it's ultra cheap and they've made it super easy to use. Once you've decided who you want to airdrop to, you can click on the airdrop button, and then you need to select the token that you want to airdrop to people. Let's say I'm going to airdrop my own token in here. I can then select that, choose how many of those tokens that I want to send. And this is the cool part, you can customize who that's being sent to. So you could send it only to chat members, which means if you've got a chat that's only 24 people large, then only those 24 people would receive that, and it would be equally divided among those members. You could also airdrop specifically to the creator. If you're in a community and you want to thank the creator that built that chat for you and maybe got you some money out of it or whatever it is, then you can just airdrop to that creator alone. Or you can airdrop to all the tribe token holders on a pro rata basis. So if somebody holds 100 tokens out of the 5,000, then they would get whatever percentage that is. If somebody else holds only one, then they would get a different amount. It doesn't seem like you can edit these percentages. I think that's just kind of automatic. But what is truly game changing about this, I think, is that you can select any token. It doesn't just have to be a token from Tribe.run. So all you need to do is send whatever token you want to airdrop to people to your Tribe.run wallet, and then you can just go in here and select that and send it to anybody. This means that you could just airdrop Soul if you wanted to, or you could create a pump.fun token and then come in and send that to a whole community. Here's an example from Imran Khan, who's one of the top people on the leaderboard. He was invited into 2 pre-sales on DAOs.fun. So he airdropped one of them at the value of 10,000 to his Tribe.run community. And the second project, valued at approximately 80,000, is scheduled to be fully airdropped tomorrow evening. So there's just an example for you of how this could be used. Another example is Bill ZH, who says that he's earned over 100 Soul creator fees on Tribe already. and he said that he's going to look to deploy some of that onto DAOs on DAOs.fun and then airdrop it to his chat. Which, if you remember, joining his chat, you need to have 27 Soul at the moment, and there's only 24 members that are in there. I've decided that any earnings that I get from the platform over the next few days, I'll be doing this same thing. Maybe not with DAOs.fun, but in some way, I'll be airdropping that to my chat as well. The other feature that I like is that when you've just joined a community, you get 7 days for free before you then have to start paying for that monthly subscription. I like the way the referrals work, where the person that refers you gets 150 free tokens of the token that you've made. I think that's a cool idea of ways to help the person who's doing the referrals. There is a downside to that, which means that somebody could go and dump those 150 tokens on you. So make sure you're using a referral code of a person that you trust. In saying that, it's only 150 tokens, so it probably wouldn't change too much if you're getting big anyway. The developers are constantly looking at ways to improve the platform. And one thing they brought out, which I like, is a nerfing mechanism, where basically they're not like completely banning that user. They are making it so that it comes up with this little warning to make sure that you know that this could potentially be somebody trying to impersonate others. It also gives an opportunity where if you're not impersonating, you just need to make sure you go on and add a PFP or a display name, and then you probably will lose that caution message. Another feature which I find pretty interesting is that you can actually buy your own token. Not only that, when you go to create your own community, the first thing you're able to do is buy as many of your own tokens as you want. Now, this obviously has downsides, but it is cool because you can also have like a stock buyback sort of program. For example, CBB said this. He woke up this morning with 18 Soul earned from fees, so he decided that he would go and buy his own tokens with everything so that his holders are up. So if you're not familiar, in the traditional finance world, often what a company will do if they have a lot of extra money, they can either give it out as a dividend, so basically paying out people that hold the shares, or they do a share buyback where the price of the shares themselves can go up in value. Or theoretically, that's how it's meant to work anyway. So this is a cool idea. I kind of like this. But while we're on this topic of buying your own tokens, let's start talking about some of the downsides to this app. Example of this is Frank Dgods. Now, I was watching this, and at the time, he launched the token, and within like not long at all, it shot all the way up to like 5th on the list. And at first, I didn't really understand why, but then I went and had a look, and if you look at his holdings, he has 3,080 of his own tokens. So I'm sure what he did was basically put a whole bunch of his own Soul into this right before it launched, so that nobody could buy in at a cheap price. This isn't a bad thing in and of itself. Maybe he just wanted this to be like a premium sort of thing, so he didn't want people getting in for a really cheap price and then looking to dump it later. But what it does do is that it means that now he has 3,000 tokens that he could dump on his own community if he wanted to. And you already know there's going to be so many people doing this, trying to rug other people, right? So just make sure you look at that before you buy into any of these tokens. Another downside to some people is the UI of this app. And it's also pretty slow. Personally, I like the style of it. I think it looks great. There are some things where you click a certain button and it does something that you didn't really expect it to do. For example, when you click on the deposit Soul button, that's also how you can send out your tokens and withdraw them. So it's not bad, but it could just be improved to make it a little bit easier to use. In terms of speed, there's so many people using this at the moment. So I think this is just going to be something that gets better over time. And honestly, the developers look like they're pretty active. So I'm not that worried about that overall. Also, they've got some good humor about it because they've said it's a SocialFi app designed with Win95 speed and also how it looks. If any page loads in less than 20 seconds, let us know and we'll add more spinning hourglasses. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think they'll fix this. Another downside, if I go into this Explore tab, you're going to know pretty quickly what I'm talking about. But basically, there are so many new tokens being created here. Basically, every person goes to create their own token. So how do you find the ones that actually have good value? Now, we're all used to this to some degree. I mean, we've had to do it with Pump.fun for a long time. But I just think that is something you have to think about when you're going to buy tokens. Other potential downside is this just a flash in the pan? I mean, we've seen things like this before, Friend, Tech, and others. They didn't usually work out very well. Is this any different, or is the same thing going to happen to this? And although I've got a lot of green here, is that something that's only going to be here for a short period of time and I just need to make sure I sell out before then? Going along with this, because it's very new, there are a lot of people who are creating a token and then saying, don't worry, I don't know exactly what the value is going to be, but I'm going to make sure that I provide value. Which is fine, but it does mean that you are kind of holding out hope that they're going to do something and they don't even know what they're going to do to provide value to you yet. I'm an optimist, so I see this as a positive thing to some degree because I think there's going to be a lot of cool use cases that come out of this, but it is something to think about. All right, let's go through a few tips of things that I've found in the time that I've been using this that I think might be helpful for someone just starting. Let's talk about when you're trying to buy into a token, how to verify that this is actually the person that you're trying to buy from. An example here, if I search Dingaling, you can see that there are a whole bunch of different profiles that are all trying to impersonate Dingaling. So to check it, one thing you can do is look at the X account here and see, does that X account match what the X account is that I'm actually following on Twitter? And is there a Farcaster account or like a Warpcast account there to add extra verification to that user? Next, I would go into the holdings tab and check the holding distribution. Firstly, to see how much the owner themselves owns, but also, are there a lot of people that are buying a lot of this, or are a lot of people just small amounts? And if you want to get into the chat, you'll also want to know how much it takes to get into that chat. Next tip I want to show you is how you can use this as a mobile app. So if you're in Safari, click on the share icon down the bottom and scroll down to where you see add to home screen. And then you can then type in whatever you want there and then click add. Now you've got the app on your home screen and it opens up like it's a mobile app. Once you've done that, it'll also give you the option to grant some permissions to notifications, which for me, I think this is an awesome functionality they've already baked in. Once you've granted permission to that, you then can use this app just like you would with the desktop app. If you go into the settings option there, you can then click on the notifications option and you can go through and select which ones you want to have and which ones you don't. Would advise turning off the new tribe created because otherwise you're literally getting notifications every second. The fact that you don't have to link this to a Phantom wallet or something as well means that using it on your phone and buying and selling different tokens on here is very easy. Honestly, too easy. I feel like I'm going to spend way too much money on this app. By the time you're watching this, there's every chance that some of these things are outdated, but hopefully the core functionality will stay up to date and relevant for a while. So what do you think? Are you going to try it out? If you'd like to, please make sure you use my referral code that's in the description and also in the pinned comment. Give me a subscribe. That'll be really helpful. I do put out a whole bunch of content about airdrops and making money in crypto. And if you want to join my Telegram chat, you can join that in the description below as well. Or you can join my tribe to have absolute elite access to me and only like 24 different people. Remember that any money that I earn from people joining the tribe, that will be going straight back into buying different things and sending them out to you guys as airdrops. Finally, make sure that you exercise caution, and this is not financial advice at all. Please make sure that you go very carefully in what you're buying into and only invest what you're willing to lose, because there's every chance, just like there is in all of crypto, that things could go to zero. Have a good one, guys. See ya.